So, cards, they can be shuffled. I'll just go through the effect real fast, and then we'll cover alternate variations and stuff of that nature. So cards are shuffled by the spectator. They can be cut as however they like. I know we're not all fancy. Years of practice and being a lonely guy. Joking. So we've got that. So after they've shuffled their cards to their heart's content, you then turn it over and you can show them, or they can see themselves that there's not a stack deck or there's any trick cards or anything of that nature, and you want to be above board and fair. Now during this time, while you're showing them all the cards and they're looking for a stack and they don't see anything, it just looks like a random mix, you are citing the top card, which hopefully the camera can see is clearly the Two of Hearts. Well, it's a little bit bright. I should turn down my brightness for that. I'm looking at my other mirror. My camera's right here, so I look through here. But it's the Two of Hearts. It would be the top card. Okay? And as I casually cite that, then I turn the pack over. And then they can keep in their hands. I mean, you just tell them to turn it all over. We now know the Two of Hearts is on top. Aww. And from here, then we can, so as I was saying, after they've shuffled the cards, their heart's content, they do it, not you. You can even show them, let them see, I mean, that's part of the effect, that they can see every card, and that's not the same card repeating over and over again. Okay? And they have done that, and then, I'll actually explain all this after, what this all means. And then we have them cut the cards wherever they like, cut the cards, and they say there, and now we're going to mark it. And I want to mention that I've been working on some mind reading, and I want to try this with you. It's going to be a really interesting thing. But first, we're going to need a thought, and this thought will be lift up the cards. I want you to just peek the card, and they do so. They got it. They can toss it anywhere they like. Doesn't even have to be here. They can toss it here, shuffle all that up, and then they can mix these into these, whatever. All that's mixed up and the card is lost. Okay? And so then from there, you just mind read them, which is really, really nice. And depending on how you want to mind read, and we'll cover that in the next section, but that's just the basic force, which is I believe it's called the crisscross force, just being able to do it. So I'm just going to use the Two of Hearts because it's such a cute example for the effect, Two of Hearts. And so for the crisscross force, as we covered the other day, they shuffle all the cards and you let them see all the cards so that everything's above board. And as you're doing that, you're citing the top card. So that's absolutely fair. You can see everything. Everything's above board. You cite the top card. You tell them to turn it over. They do. And then tell them to cut half the pack, place it on a table, assuming there's a table for this version. Otherwise, you're going to have to rely on the other one, which doesn't have a table. So they've cut the pack, Two of Hearts. They've cut the pack and placed it here, and then they place the other section on top. And just so everyone's caught up. And for then you need to use time. They call it time misdirection, but I just say presentation, and then it'll just be the natural misdirection, which will do it. You basically don't want them. You want them to lose track of the orientation of the cards through talking to them, which half is where. And you do this just by saying, one thing I could say is I was working on mentalism and working on mind readings. So let's work on this since we're presenting it as a little experiment, cool. Now it's justified that you're just doing all this as an experiment. You can say that while you're presenting it and then let them peek the card. So they lift up, peek the card, great. And then then the trick's over, well, in one sense. Because you still have to mind read them, but the hardest part is over, forcing the card. Or you can say, have you ever heard of mind reading, or something to that effect, because you're trying to get to that mind reading hit, because that's what you're essentially doing. The whole presentation, building up to that moment, is mind reading. Where you're mind reading a thought. Someone just cut to it. It seems like someone just cut to a card very fairly. They peeked one, put it back, they shuffled it up. They shuffled it up since the beginning. They got to view every card. It wasn't a stacked deck. Hell, they borrowed the deck, and then at the end of losing the card, side of the pack, everything, the guy just literally just looks at me and is able to mind read my card. That's amazing. Now onto the mind reading. So you force the card in one sense. We'll cover the rollover force in a second. Okay, but now that we've forced the 2 of hearts, and they've lost it somewhere inside the pack. Okay, that's totally lost. The presentation for mind reading is one that you choose. So how would you imagine mind reading to be done? Actually take a moment and really think about how, you can even pause it right now. Just visualizing how you would imagine mind reading to be done. It would be a slow one, would be quick. How would you present it would be truly you? Like you can do mind reading. Or if you want to try someone else's style and mimic how they do mind reading. It could be slow, it could be fast paced. You're just giving that presentation, because now you're acting at this point. You're giving your all to be able to sell the effect that you are literally using telepathy or something, or maybe giving the impression. I think that's almost better for mentalism. You're giving the impression of reading someone else's mind. It's the impression that we care about. We actually don't care if we actually read someone's mind or not. We want the impression, selling it, all the drama and theater. That's the excitement that it can exist in a positive type dynamic with both spectator and magician. It's enjoyable. Good magic, the right kind. Makes it really exciting. So in one sense it can be slow. You can actually develop little gags, like you could actually purposefully be wrong. You could be wrong twice in this effect. Purposefully. Say, it was a black card. Oh, it was red? Oh, dang. Oh, I'm off today. Let me, and then you can go in on it. Or here's a gag you want. You could purposefully, let's say their card's purposefully black. So then in this context you could use this gag. This is a funny one. Does your card happen to be a cherry colored card? And they go, no. And they go, black cherry. And that's a good gag to go off of if a black card is selected and you want to be wrong. You can be direct. Okay, I'm going to look at you. Okay, I really want you to think your card. Okay, get an impression all around. I'm seeing red. I'm seeing... It feels sharp. It feels sharp, and it feels high-low. I almost want to say 3, but I'm going to go with 7. Let's say their card was a 9 diamonds in this case. I'm just feeling a 9 diamonds. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? And then you pause, and then people react, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You mind read me. And there's many different ways to go about it. But that's... 2 ways to mind read. Now for what everyone's asking for is the rollover force. There's 2 ways you can do it. Let me use Ace of Spades. It's classic. Okay, so there's 2 ways you can generally do the rollover force. It's like a rollover force. I call it rollover force. It's like a version of the slop triumph. You know, where you do this. But instead... Ace of Spades, okay. But instead of that, we're gonna fine tune it by doing. I mean, I first saw this. Really, I first saw this in Harry Lorraine's Close-Up Card Magic book, the black and red one. Really, really beautifully done book. And it was in his section with revolving aces. The trick down. It's like down 2/3, 60% of the book. Really great trick. But in this sense, we're gonna imagine the Ace of Spades right there. By just rolling over the cards twice, you see it face up. And you could even see it face up right here for a brief second, which is hilarious. People don't even see the force card because they don't know what to look for. And then when they flip it over again in the sequence, and then you take the first face up card, you see you just flipped over twice and you still got these spades. So here's what it looks like in actual performance. I know I've confused a couple people. These spades, okay? I'm going to go across the cards. You just tell them when to stop. They say stop right here, okay? We're going to take all these cards and turn it over. Okay, we're going to go from the face up cards into the face down cards. Okay, tell them to stop whenever you like. And they say stop. Do you want to go here, here? Doesn't matter. Here. Oh, okay, I'll go extra far just for you. There you go. And I want you to take everything. They could do it. You could do it. Doesn't matter. Flip everything over. And I want you to take the first face down card you see. And then they take it. Okay, what do I do with these cards? Score them up. Okay, set them aside. They can peek their card. And you've got the force. And then, again, toss it back in the deck. shuffle it off and you do the mind reading section. But that is essentially the roller force. And what it looks like is you just push off some cards, so you really are. And then just by taking these cards and then turning them all up onto the face down deck, now you've got that situation. And I've noticed that spectators can actually do this. If you have good audience management skills, spectators can do this, which is great, instead of you just doing it yourself. It's always more powerful in the spectator's hands, if you could allow it. So then you go push up for past the face up into the face down. And then we turn it on over. So we got that. And now we say take the first face down card you see, and you got it. Now, the immediate question becomes, so what is the context for doing this? And you would say the context would be, at the very beginning, you would say, I want to try something a little bit of a mind reading stunt, okay? But first we're going to need you to select a card in a unique way. And then you go right into it. First shuffle up the cards, you peek, you've seen everything, fair, yes, okay. And I'm going to have you select a card in a unique way. And that's how you present it, okay? So they tell you when to stop, stop. Now take all the cards, turn it over. They do it. Tell them to stop, stop. Okay, turn it over. And because you said it was unique, it makes it more acceptable. It's like, wow, this is really going through a unique process of getting to a card. Wow, this must be a really unique card. It must be not forced or anything, even though it is, which is great. So that's the segment on that. Then push to the first face down card you see, deal it, take this card, turn over. They peek their card. And you've won. Toss back, do your mind reading as we covered earlier, and you're Gucci. I think I covered pretty much everything on that section. Showing the two methods, revolving one and the crisscross. I don't know where that was published in, but revolving, the revolving one has all roots or side roots, variations in slop triumphs. You know, going to the reversal, you know, just slop triumphs like this. Popularized by Chris Kenner from Theory 11 many years back. Lovely effect. And yeah, that's just a little mind reading stunt. Hope everyone, I'll call it a quick mind reading stunt. It's quick, it's lovely. You give the impression of mind reading someone. You're going to give them, like, I just want to be able to grab a thought from you. And then you had a card selected in a unique way to be fair. They selected it, they put it back, you mind read them, and wow, you can do mind reading. That's cool. Do another. Lovely. So that's a mind reading.